I don't know why she swallowed a fly. Perhaps she'll die. I know an old lady who swallowed a spider. She swallowed the spider to catch the fly, and so on and so forth. And it seemed to me like a terrific solution to pest problems around the house is to have that old lady, in your spare room.
Just eating bugs.
Eating bugs, just having the old lady who ate bugs.
Wasn't like one of Dracula's henchmen would periodically eat spiders and stuff.
Yes.
Cockroaches,
So-
yeah.
Yes.
Renfield. Good job, Renfield.
This whole notion of spiders being some sort of assistant to us in managing other bugs, I kind of see them as these 8-legged, multi-eyed Nazi Germany that have created a Ribbentrop Pact in which they claim to be on my side against the ants and the other big. But at some point, they developed a non-aggression pact with the other ones, and they turned against me.
We're good. We're good. Well, and the other thing, as I've mentioned, these other, quote, bugs. What are these bugs that the spiders are supposed to be keeping out? Because I saw mosquitoes.
Theoretically fly. I guess whether mosquitoes are too small for the web, or they're just like...
I think it's a bunch of crap. That's what I think. I don't think that spiders actually help. So you go ahead, listeners. You let me. I'll take that hate mail all day long because I'm from the spiders and the spider lovers of the world. I'm never going to be the girl who puts it on a little piece of cardboard and takes it outside to be free to terrify me again. That is how I look at it. You release that spider out into the wild, it's going to come back in my house, and it's going to scare me again. If I squish it, don't have the problem.
Okay, now, if I tell you that as an employee of National Review, I am obligated to be a first-grade spider fighter, do you understand that explanation? Or that reference?
I have a pretty good idea, yes.
Yeah. So go
ahead.
Annie Hall.
Yes.
He's deeply offended that Woody Allen is deeply offended his girlfriend has a copy of National Review. He complains and complains. And then when she calls him up because she has a spider in her bathroom and she's terrified of it. And of course she needs, that not only does she need a man, like she's even willing to settle for Woody Allen when it comes to And then
Look, we're stretching the man now. Now you're really stretching.
Why don't you get William F. Buckley to kill the spider is his response to that. There is, for all the other beefs and problems that there is with Woody Allen, and Lord knows there's a lot to complain about Woody Allen. The scene where he goes in, and we never see the spider. We just see him panicking, and he comes out. It's the size of a Buick,
right?
We relate to that. But obviously, look, there's a proud tradition. We are known as spider killers at National Review.
Oh, I did not realize that history.
Yeah, you have to do that. And so it's not just a manly job; it's a National Review man's job. And
very cool. I had no idea.
There you go. Yeah. Also,
I feel kind of honored. I am with a first-grade spider killer.
That's
fantastic. Do you get like a badge or anything?
No, but you mentioned that. I also like to say this is a proud tradition. I am still the first person who gets called when there's a spider in the house, but I'm rather proud. But the other things we have, we call them jumping spiders. Basically, they're crickets or grasshoppers, but they're very
camel crickets.
Is that okay?
Yes, they're horrifying.
Very dark and they look like spiders, basically.
Yes, and they jump.
Yes, and they're fast.
I do know how to kill them.
They're fast.
There's only one way.
What's that?
It involves an old school phone book.
Okay.
Because they will pick up other books, throw them off, and run away.
I was going to say, occasionally I get returning small arms fire.
Right, like those ones will turn on you. Yeah. Like, really? You want to bring that book to me? That's a magazine.
So
let me see what you really got.
If you step on them, they do push-ups with your shoe. And
exactly.
You have to go at least the year in review kind of collection of magazines, yes. Or at least a winter Vogue from Italy.
Something perfect.
Something weighing at least 9 pounds. In my house, I am rather proud. So we have, Dad, there's a spider. And for a long time, my 7-year-old is now not eager to encounter them. But my 4-going-on-5-year-old he's now ready to go with Daddy. And,
he wants
I'll
to
send
kill
him around. Yes,
you're training him young.
He, this is my baby Thor. Long flowing locks and utter fearlessness.
And he wants to go kill a spider.
He's ready to go. And my other son is like, yeah, Dad, you get that one.
Yeah.
I'm not. You
go ahead and take care of that one.
So other than we came on this from boy jobs and girl jobs.
Yes, I apologize. Yes, and we went off.
Is there a way for a guy?
I know our listeners are stunned that we went on tangent. But continue.
Is there a way for guys to say, "Oh, that's women's work," without having something thrown at them?
No.
Okay, good to know.
That was really easy. Ask me another one that easy.
What is the most effective way to get out of a unisex job?
There isn't.
Okay.
I think that one of the most important things to do is if you're living with a female and she says to you, say Ms. Campaign Spot says to you, Jim, I need you to take that garbage out. Your job is to get up and take that garbage out. It's really just that simple because you guys are the ones that are in our face constantly throwing the happy life, happy wife, Oh, yeah, well, make us happy, and then we'll tell you whether or not you get to have a happy life.
We're light years from that, which, look, no, the aim is to anticipate.
Yes.
Yeah,
if
she has to ask, there's the bigger grief.
Well, then you're at my house.
There's the symbolic job.
That is understood.
Honey, you don't have to empty that ashtray, honey. I got that ashtray. That's no problem. Symbolic
there you go.
job.
See, you don't have to do that. I've got this. And at our house, Mr. Bias will go out and anticipate my needs, taking out the garbage before it's even ready to be overflowing. He tightens it up. We take it out. I never even have to mention the garbage anymore. But that's what comes with years of relationships, or as I was about to say, training.
It's all the same thing.
It is all the same, Dave. You're right.
Unthinkable that, so that happy wife, happy life statement. Oh, that's so ridiculous.
Yes, it is ridiculous. But there are many things that could lead to that happening faster.
I'm aware of that. Yeah, I would concur with that. So, from one great controversy to another one which will inevitably lead to a battle of the sexes. I am Jim Garrity. That is Mickey White. Keep it right here. We'll be right back after this.
Everyone asks, Corinthian leather? Of course, why not the best? It's the same with our new Chrysler New Yorker. It gives you everything. Powerful V6, anti-lock brakes, front-wheel drive, rich leather, 770 protection plan. And Chrysler's exclusive Crystal Key program, complete car coverage with owner care that's even better than Rolls-Royce or Mercedes. Chrysler New Yorker gives you the one thing you always wanted in a luxury car. Everything.
I could have used a little more cowbell.
Welcome back, and thanks for listening to the Jim and Mickey Show. I'm Mickey White, here with Jim Garrity. And if you've been paying any attention to the news this week, you have probably noticed that the ugly head of Mike Huckabee has reared itself again. And this time, he's decided to take pot shots at probably one of the most popular female performers in the country, and certainly one of the wealthiest, Beyonce. I happen to be someone who's a fan of her earlier works, more so than her recent stuff, but a fan nonetheless. And I just don't see where Mr. Huckabee would be in her demo in the first place. But Jim, you think there's more to this than just not liking, her style? Sure.
But in your introduction, you said if you've been paying any attention to the news this week, we're sorry. I wish you hadn't. But anyway, but Huckabee announced he's discontinuing his Fox News show because he's thinking about running for president. He has a book coming out. Quote, all Huckabee fans, send all of your angry hate mail to Mickey White.
Yeah, go ahead, send it to me.
Because I'm going to have to cover this guy, and I try to be on good terms with as many people as possible.
Yeah, that's all me.
Yeah,
Jim's all neutral.
But he has a new book coming out, God, Guns, Grits, and Gravy. And he has a section in it the media has seized upon, and I think with a decent amount of reason, discussing Beyonce. And I'll read the section for you, and so we can assess it directly on what's on the page, and not people paraphrase. Beyonce is incredibly talented, gifted. He writes in the book, which hit stores on January 20th. She has an exceptional set of pipes, and she can actually sing. She is a terrific dancer. By the way, notice how I do this? I just lapse into my Huckabee voice.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, go ahead.
She is a terrific dancer, without the explicit moves best left for the privacy of her bedroom. Jay-Z is a very shrewd businessman, but I wonder, does it occur to him that he is arguably crossing the line from husband to pimp by exploiting his wife as a sex object? Oh. Now, if you wanted to start a media firestorm, this is just pouring gasoline onto people are going to scream bloody murder over this. Here's the thing. Separate from what you think of Huckabee, kind of separate from what you think of Beyonce, let's assume, but also separately in an interview, Huckabee went after the Obamas for allowing their daughters to listen to Beyonce's music.
Ridiculous.
Well, here's the thing. I think there's a really legitimate discussion to be had in the country about what kind of media is appropriate for children what kind is appropriate for teenagers and what kind is appropriate for adults, and is there this blurring of the line that has bad consequences? I think we can have a real discussion about that.
Yeah, no, there's a legitimate discussion to be had. However, I think the key part with this Huckabee story is the very beginning. In his book coming out January 20th, he wants to sell books. How do you sell books? You take a piece where you have obviously, very openly, not even basically, he said Jay-Z could be a pimp. He's pimping out his wife, Beyonce. Yeah, and, there's going to be outrage. And, those are the pieces of the book that suddenly make it out to publication. Okay, let's first of all, everyone understand his reasoning behind it. He wants to sell books. I doubt he even knows this line is in there, knowing how editors work. But it was chosen.
Huckabee knows that. It's
whatever. It's his book, his whatever. All I'm saying is that this is to sell books.
Yeah. Well,
it's worded. It is released in order to sell those books. Now, that aside, there is a legitimate conversation to be had about what you let your kids watch, what you let your kids listen to, who you allow them to hang out with. The key word in all of those was what you decide for your kids. I am completely comfortable with parents setting regulations for their child. I just don't want the government doing it for me.
Yeah, there's two, here's a problem. As I mentioned, there's a really legitimate point to be made, but this seems to be made in the most incendiary way possible to steer it into a whole bunch of side discussions. Among them, do you think the Obamas are good parents or not? Now, I don't know the Obamas that well.
Right,
I know,
how can you judge?
Correct. I mean, we see the president in his public role every day, but I don't know whether Sasha and Malia are turning out great or whether Sasha and Malia are having all kinds of problems. It's kind of not my business.
Well,
right?
that's the thing. Yeah, that's the whole point. And one of my favorite things, actually, about President Bush was when the girls, the twins, kept getting into trouble when they were in college, and they got busted for underage drinking. And I thought it was, college girls being college girls, but it was a huge story. And I love that he came out and said, this is a family story. This has nothing to do with you. We will deal with this as a family. I like that approach. Again, I just don't like the idea of and Huckabee's one of those people who, again, he's such a firebrand bringing in people. He is one of those people who loves to claim the title of, lead conservative, the most conservative. If you're going to go out and claim to be a conservative, claim to be a Christian, claim to be all of the things that he claims to be, do you really insult someone else's marriage, their wife, by calling them a whore and calling the husband a pimp? I mean, honestly, does that really line up with conservatism?
I'm sure it's the cute, innocent, well, look, I'm just asking questions. When he writes, does it occur to him that he is arguably crossing the line from husband to pimp by exploiting his wife as a sex object? Well, let me answer that for you, Governor. No, it's not. It's not occurring to him. I think it's safe to say that if Jay-Z had a major problem with the way his wife's performing or something like that, they'd probably talk about it and they'd probably work it out.
It also leads me.
He doesn't seem like a shy, retiring type.
Right, exactly. For when they do the show together.
Yeah,
their most recent tour was actually together. So, and you can have a lot of fun with the whole Jay-Z and Beyonce thing. They are in fact married. They toured together last time. They have a child together. They have a business together. One would think that Huckabee would think they were the ideal couple. So what's his problem?
If one of our laments is the rate of cohabitation, people, babies and boys and girls not being raised with a father and mother in the same home, actually married to each other, by that standard, whatever you think of their lyrics, whatever you think of their performances,
that's what they do for a living.
The way they live their lives is something of a role model. We can argue whether they're a perfect role model or something like that, but it just seems like a very ham-handed way to get his name.
It's a little petty and nasty when it's not necessary, especially, again, when you're talking about someone who's actually doing what, theoretically, Huckabee says he wants people to do.
Yeah,
they didn't have Blue Ivy for 2 years after they were married.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a shotgun wedding. It was a choice. They got married. They've had a very private life. They tried to as much as possible, being the wealthiest couple in the world. But it leads me to believe that perhaps he never watched any of Beyonce's performances prior to her hooking up and getting married to Jay-Z because they were no different.
Also, I was going to say, wasn't this Independent Woman? And if you like it, you should put a ring on it.
Yes.
About the most explicitly pro-marriage song there's been.
Yeah, put a ring on it was, I think, as we all know now.
Yeah.